Yeah, before my first meeting with Dr. Loretta, I had extreme fatigue to the point of I was pinned to my bed after even an evening out with friends or um, just anything that was even just remotely exhausting. Um, and I was stuck in bed for days. It was difficult to even do things like play with my son. Um, it was I'd be done and I'd tap out in about 15-20 minutes. Um, it was which was heartbreaking for me because I have a young son and uh, yeah, that was just very difficult. Um, and it was hard to do anything at work. It was hard to do anything around the house because I was just every muscle, every joint, every part of my body just was exhausted. Everything felt very heavy, including my mind. I couldn't think clearly. My I would forget words. I'd forget what I was talking about in the middle of a conversation or even in the middle of a sentence. I'd forget names of people. It was pretty miserable. I'm a police officer, so I went to several doctors, and they did blood tests, which were really just repeats of the same blood test the previous doctor had prescribed. Uh, they tried uh, they tried a testosterone therapy. Uh, they tried several other interventions, and even to the point of suggesting that I go on some sort of antidepressant. Um, and I didn't want to do that. It didn't. I just something like that didn't feel like it would have worked. Uh, so they did try some other things, just some basic advice like, oh, maybe you need more sleep, maybe you just need to reduce your stress, et cetera, et cetera. And I had been trying that for a while, and that didn't help. It actually, um, my condition just continued to get worse. I would exercise. I would um, meditate. I would try a bunch of what you could find on the internet or what people who I thought were trusted professionals would tell me to do, and it, I could continually feel myself getting worse and worse. So it would be the amount of time where I could be up and cleaning, just doing simple things like cleaning the house, the amount of time I play with my son, the amount of time I could concentrate at work uh, to help others and to write reports, it was increasingly decreasing in amount of time. The time that I was able to uh, give to these different areas of my life, it was it was it was decreasing the and it wasn't for lack of effort. It was it was just decreasing in the amount of energy, the amount of power I could put behind each of these aspects of my life. My son was young, so that he would continually ask me to play with him. My but he obviously had no idea what was going on. My relationship with my wife had strained quite a bit. I mean, we would get into arguments. She felt like she had to carry much of the load of household responsibilities, which I mean, she did. She honestly did. She had to do quite a bit around the house, taking care of our son, taking care of everything. And it was because it wasn't for lack of wanting to or lack of desire. It was, I just physically couldn't. And after several arguments. My wife and I just sat down and spoke and about very in depth about what I was feeling, at least start the process of looking for a uh, a better solution. My wife um, did a lot of research, and she came across Dr. Loretta's Instagram or some of her social media, and showed me. She showed me the clips of what Dr. Loretta put out on her social media. I was amused, and but most of all, it was another path that I could go down that at least I felt like it was worth a try. When I first met Dr. Loretta, I had for the first time in a long time, I had hope. We had a relatively short interview, and she asked me many relevant questions that other doctors had not. It seemed as though she had an end goal in mind for me just from speaking with me, asking questions that were tailored specifically to me and my condition. The fact I could I could tell that she had a path in mind that she already wanted to go down just from our initial meeting. And like I said, that was very hopeful for me that someone may actually have the answer. Dr. Loretta was able to speak that into existence, and she was able to explain it to me, at least in a way um, that made sense, helped me and saved my life. You know, I didn't have a life before I met Dr. Loretta. It was I was alive, but it wasn't. I wasn't living. I wasn't able to. Dr. Loretta immediately put me on several supplements. When right after I started taking them, it was probably less than 72 hours, and I could already feel a different. I hadn't even taken any like tests. Yeah, like I said, within 72 hours, I had a noticeable difference. I knew I still had a long way to go, but I was at least feeling better, able to finally begin interacting uh, just in a normal way with all the other aspects of my life. My wife told me that I seemed like a completely different person. I was more the person that she married. Yeah, that made me feel great. I was shocked. She sent me some supplements, and I just I couldn't believe it. Um, I really couldn't. It was, but like I said, I had many tests done on me in the past,
I didn't know
leading
that part.
to that
That's
point,
amazing.
and she, Dr. Loretta, knew from a simple conversation with me, you know, asking
Wow.
very pinpoint, detailed questions, and I'm still on the same supplements, and she's added since then. But
Mm,
yeah, I felt as soon as I
mm-hmm,
started taking those, like I said,
mm.
within 72 hours, just a weight was lifted off of me. I could actually live again. Yeah, I was shocked at how quick I'd feel as good as I did. It's hard to explain because you go to a doctor and they have all these tests and all these questions, and you see nurses and you see all these other people, and it's very complicated, and it was just amazing to have such a simple process and speak with Dr. Loretta, and like you said, within a week
Mm.
having
Yeah.
yeah, essentially in about a week, I was already feeling back back on the road to living a life that um, my family deserved and the people I work with deserve. I'm still amazed at how quick that was. It's been almost a year, actually.
Almost a year. Okay.
Yeah, since my first interaction with Dr. Loretta, it's been about a year. I feel like my old self again. I'm I'm finally able to do many of the same things that I was able to before. Uh, I'm able to work out in a way
Mm,
where I have enough energy to make it through a workout
mm,
um and to feel good. I have enough energy to um I mean to play with my son and to be a great husband to my wife. Um, and my wife has definitely noticed it. She says it quite often that
mm.
I'm I'm finally back to the person that she married. And
Wow,
yeah, I'm very grateful for everything Dr. Loretta had done.
awesome.
You never know how low you can actually get. Um, and while I didn't have a lot of um, depressive thoughts, you or thoughts of like wanting to harm myself, you just don't really realize when you're in a spot where you don't have any hope, and it's very dark, and your body and your mind feel so heavy. uh, you're not sure exactly how low you can go.
Mm.
um so I no one else had the answer. So
No one
if
else.
I had not met Dr. Loretta again, I could have been in a very bad place. Oh, I would recommend Dr. Loretta to anybody who's experiencing similar symptoms to myself, or any symptoms which traditional medicine has not been able to help them with, or if they're dealing with something that they've tried other interventions that have not worked. I would recommend Dr. Loretta to anybody. Um, and I think I'm confident that Dr. Loretta would be able to not only understand what's going on with that other person, but put them give them a vision for hope, but also give them the correct protocol to help them get back on the right track and to living their life.